Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episodes 3 and 4 of Infinity Train. So, I know some of you have been asking in the comments, like, when's the next episode of Infinity Train going to be? And I just want to say, like, just right off the bat, remember that with the channel, we don't have a schedule for anything. There's no schedule, there's no plans. I get to more episodes of whatever, basically whenever I feel like it. It's just a way for me to continue to enjoy doing reactions without feeling too locked into a certain schedule. Because when I have in the past gone with the schedule, as you guys know, it tended to drag on my interest in reacting a lot of the times. It felt very constrictive. So having no schedule, it's just like there might not be an episode of a certain series one week. We might go a week or even two without an episode reaction of a certain series. That's just how it's going to happen. So when I see those comments, it's like I almost don't know like what to say because it's like I don't necessarily know. I don't necessarily know when the next episode's going to be. I mean, yeah, on average, I like to try and get to episodes, um, at least something for each series every week if I can. And there's a lot of times where I have. In fact, I'd say a good portion of time where I do get to at least a little bit of everything every week. Um, but that's not always going to happen. There's going to be some weeks where I just don't get to certain things, even where it's not necessarily planned. Like, I mean, next week obviously is an exception because that's a theme week. I'm doing a One Piece exclusive week aside from the Crystal Nuzlocke. Um, but yeah, it's just overall on a regular week, it's like I get to whatever I get to when I get to it, and I don't usually know ahead of time. I don't plan it out ahead of time, like, oh, I'm going to react to this tomorrow, or whatever. The only things I really plan out ahead of time like that are the Nuzlocke, which I kind of have to plan out because that takes a few hours at a time, and sometimes I'll plan out like an AMV or top 10 or something because that could take a couple days to make just because of getting all the content for it and then putting it all together, yada yada. But that's about it. Like with reactions, I don't plan things out ahead of time. I don't know what I'm going to react to like tomorrow or whatever. It's just kind of on a as it comes basis. So yeah, just as a note for everyone who keeps asking like when the next episode of this is coming or that is coming, I don't know. I do not know. I have no way to tell you because I do not plan that ahead of time. Again, unless there's going to be like a theme week, like next week's One Piece week. Um, but in general, I don't know. Anyway, so the second episode of Infinity Train, we met the cat, who apparently is voiced by the actress who played, I believe it was Captain Janeway from Star Trek. I don't know. I was never a big Star Trek fan. My dad is more the Star Trek fan. I've seen like the newer movies, the more modern movies and everything, but that's where most of my Star Trek knowledge comes from, and I don't even remember a lot from those. Um, and I admit I have seen a little bit of Next Generation, but that's mostly because of Data. I just like Data, or Data, or however you want to pronounce his name. Either way, Yeah, I was never big into Star Trek, so I would not have even begun to know that, even if I saw her name in the credits. Um, but yeah, we got the cat, and she apparently knew the conductor and was going to get the conductor's help for Tulip on the condition that she get 1-1, I think it is, in return. Um, which at first Tulip accepts, but then realizes, oh, after thinking about it, oh yeah, no, that was wrong. Let's get everything back and everything. Um, yeah, and it was definitely an episode more about the character development and growth for Tulip, and just in general a lot of that kind of stuff in comparison to the first episode, which did have stuff like that, mind you. Still, it was definitely a lot more of the heavy focus in episode 2. Now, as I said last time, the way we're going to react to this series is each reaction video is going to be based on the linked download on the site I use. So in this case, it's like, oh, this link was specifically for episodes 3 and 4. They're in one video together when you download them. So I'm reacting to both 3 and 4. I think the next couple of them are like that, like 4, 5, and then 6, 7, and then there's like another single episode 1 after that, maybe something like that. But that's how we're doing it. We're just going based on each download link for the episodes on that site. Um, so yeah, I don't know what to expect. I assume most of this is going to be kind of episodic with the overall goal and mission still being the same throughout. Like Tulip's still going to be trying to get to the conductor so she can get off the train. Um, that's going to be her main thorough line, and there's going to be things kind of connecting to that. But during the course of all of that, I feel at least that the episodes themselves are going to still be heavily, episodic and very much just their own thing, because that's kind of what this leads to with the Infinity Train and its weird and wild train cars. So yeah, that's my guess at least. That's where I figure this is heading. Um, I'm interested to see exactly what we get. I'm wondering if we're going to get anything from the pilot, or if that's just going to kind of be left to its own thing and we're just going to focus on newer stuff. Um, I don't remember everything from the pilot, but I remember there was this like train car of like this dog kingdom or something, and like these corgis, and and more interestingly enough, there was a creature in it that I think had some connection to the conductor. And this creature, it was like this giant, like it almost looked like Ko the Face Stealer from Avatar: The Last Airbender, specifically when it has like the Japanese like stereotypical Japanese woman's like mask face. Um, it kind of looked like Ko the Face Stealer in that way, but it was also very mechanical at the same time. So and it definitely did not fit in with the world, the dog world that was in that train car. So it's like I'm really wondering if that's going to be brought up. I assume so, but I would think it would maybe be brought up in a different way. I don't know. I'm almost like worried that they might try to redo the exact same story from the pilot, but um, I don't know. I'm just worried about that because it might seem like a little bit too much of a retread. Because it's like if you've seen the pilot, which I feel most people who would watch this series have, then it's gonna feel like too much of a retread, and it's not gonna feel original enough, and it's gonna be like an entire episode wasted. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, I don't know what else to expect at all from these episodes. I really can only guess. Um, so we're just gonna get this started, see what we have in store, and hope it's something enjoyable, something good. So, for now, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, we are back and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, the first episode here, episode 3, as I said in the reaction, it was just a rehash of the pilot. Though there was some subtle differences to it, just a little bit of new content related to how it's progressed throughout this first couple episodes of the series so far. Because the difference with the pilot compared to now is that the pilot was all the content there was at that point. With this, now there's more content to kind of build off of. And so most of the changes were very subtle and centered more around just like, oh, this is the struggle Tulip's been going through up to this point. So it was mostly about her emotions, her where she had come from at this point, and everything like that. The second episode, though, was a little more interesting. The second episode was obviously something completely new. But first off, we have Atticus joining us. I did not know he was going to end up continuing on. That was interesting. I wonder if he'll be there just from this point on, period, or if he's only there temporarily. But they end up reaching this new car, and it's interesting. It's basically just this crystal forest or something. I don't know. This magical crystal land. Everything is crystal. The animals are crystal. The plants are crystal. The ground is crystal. Literally everything. So they end up finding where the door is, but it's like way high up, and there doesn't seem to be a way to get to it. That's when they meet this crystal person who can't speak, and has to kind of charade his way into explaining how to open the door. Luckily, it seems Atticus is really fucking good at charades, and we find out that there used to be a stairway, but it was taken away. And the stairway is the only way to get up there. Now, in order to get a new stairway to come, they need to touch this very specific crystal and sing a song with kind of emotional resonance. So, of course, they try. Atticus tries howling out a legendary song of his people, but howling does not count. It has to actually be sung, which we see as well when 1-1 tries to dial up. That doesn't work either. But Tulip tries a bunch of different songs, even songs that are emotional and that she does emotionally connect to, but nothing's working. She eventually realizes that it does have to be a song that is emotional for her specifically, and the first thing that comes to her mind is a song that the song itself isn't anything emotionally connected to her, but it's very clear that it's what the song represents. It's a silly little dance song, a silly little just kind of fun song. But what it means is it has this meaning to her because of where she remembers it from. It's a song that she remembers from road trips with her family that they would sing together. And it's made very clear in this moment that she misses her family, that is what she is thinking about when she thinks about this emotional resonance. It's all about her family. And this is big because the very first episode showed her being almost dismissive of her family. But it was made very clear that it was kind of in the case of like, oh, she's a kid and she's angry with them for being divorced. She's angry at them for just, in her eyes, not being proper parents. And especially um, after it's revealed that they kind of messed up with scheduling and neither of them are able to take her to her camp. So she was upset at them, but that doesn't mean she doesn't love them, and that doesn't mean um, that she resents them or anything. It just kind of seemed like that at first, but it's very clear that she does love them, and now she misses them, and she wants to get back to that. She wants to get back to her parents and her family and her friends and all of that. And so the thing that's emotionally connecting her to her right now the most is something like that, a song that just has that deep personal meaning, not because of the song's lyrical content itself, but because of what it means to her specifically. And I've experienced that plenty throughout my life. I've experienced plenty of songs that have had a deeper connection with me because of where I've heard them or um, what they've done for me throughout the years or whatnot. Not necessarily because of the content of the lyrics, but there's plenty of songs as well for me that the lyrics definitely do make a big difference for me. It just depends on the song. So we find out that when they succeed in doing the right song, this giant crystal monster, like this geode monster, as we can see when it opened its mouth, it comes out of nowhere, um, seems to like the song, and pulls a new set of stairs out of its mouth, pulls the key out of a locket around its neck, unlocks the door after putting the stairs up, and they're just free to go. Now, another thing these episodes had to note is the number. This was a big factor in both of these episodes. The number on Tulip's hand. It starts out at, I believe it was 111 or 109, something like that. It's 100 something. Um, but then it starts going down, and it's by significant chunks. It's not like, oh, it goes down like by one. No, it goes down significant chunks at a time. And Tulip's trying to figure out, of course, why. How does it go down? How does it decide when it's right to go down? What causes that? But she can't figure it out. And it almost seems like by the end of this second episode here, episode 4, it almost seems like she did. Because she's trying to put together the different moments that went down, what they have in common. And it almost seems like maybe the key could be solving the car. That almost sounds like a weird way to word it, but think about it. The two biggest examples in these episodes of when it went down are when she saved Corginia, freeing it from the shadow of the monster and the overflowing water. And the second notable time is when she solved the puzzle of the crystal car, allowing her to continue on by appeasing the giant with the music and earning the stairs and key. She solved both of the rooms. It's almost like each of these cars, each of these train cars are a puzzle. And that you can, through a lot of them, you can continue on, but actually solving the puzzle of those rooms, completing the car, drops the number. But we still don't know what the number actually means and what will happen if it drops to 0. So there's still a lot of questions that we need to account for that. It's unclear, honestly. But it's a fun mystery. It's really interesting in and of itself. Um, yeah, overall, I'm really enjoying this. I just think it's a fun series. I don't know if I would say it's like the best or anything, but we're still only 4 episodes in. So who knows? It might get a lot better. But for now, I mean, it's still very good. It's still very enjoyable. And I can't wait to see what happens next. But like I said in the pre-thoughts at the beginning of this redirect, just as a note for everyone watching this, I don't know when the next one's going to be. I cannot promise anything. I'm not going to say, oh, it'll be next week or anything. No, I don't know. It'll be whenever I feel like I want to react to more of this. It'll be whenever I feel like that is what I want to react to that day. And yada yada. All of that I said in the pre thoughts. um, there's no schedule, there's no plan. It's just as it comes basis. So, that being said, tell me in the comments below what you thought of these 2 episodes of Infinity Train. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.